The Judgment Day's success continues to stack up, so we'll see what's up with them. We'll also check out some topics with Vince McMahon, Seth Rollins, and more. Let's start things off with everything related to the Judgment Day. Ever since bringing in Finn Balor and Dominik Mysterio to the group, the Judgment Day has been on top of WWE, and remains as one of the biggest focal points of Raw. And even looking back to the beginning of 2023 to current day, it's pretty incredible to see everything that the group's members have accomplished throughout the year. You had Rhea Ripley winning the Royal Rumble match from the #1 spot and making history with the longest time ever in a Women's Royal Rumble match. Rhea, of course, topped that off by knocking off Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania 39 to become the new Women's World Champion in one of the best matches of the year so far. Then, all at the same time, you had Finn Balor being in the middle of his big feud with Edge. And you had Dominik Mysterio in the middle of his personal feud with his father, Rey Mysterio. Damian Priest was even feuding with Bad Bunny at Backlash. So, literally for the very first month of the year, big things have been happening for the Judgment Day, and they haven't stopped at all ever since. Then Damian Priest won the Money in the Bank contract, and some fans were upset because they wanted to see LA Knight win it. But when we see now why WWE went with Damian Priest to win it, it's because they already had an entire story and vision planned out for the contract causing tension and being a main story within the Judgment Day. So that's why they went with Priest. And many fans thought that's where WWE was stopping at with the Judgment Day. Rhea has her title, Damian has his contract, and Finn has been the #1 contender for the world title throughout a majority of the summer. But WWE just threw another curveball that no one saw coming. And that's, of course, Dominik Mysterio capturing the NXT North American Championship from longtime champion Wes Lee. That all went down on the July 18th edition of NXT. After some distractions and interruptions from the other Judgment Day members, Dominik shocked everyone and scored a 3 count on Wes Lee for the title. And the agenda now seems to really be clear, and it's all over the reports too, that the Judgment Day is allegedly being booked and viewed at as the successor to the Bloodline storyline. And that definitely appears to be how they've been treating them all year long. This is something we lightly discussed after Damian Priest won the Money in the Bank contract and started having issues with Finn Balor. We discussed how the Judgment Day is starting to resemble the Bloodline in terms of how many stories they have going on at a time between all the members, and how it feels like Raw is truly ran by the Judgment Day, the same way it felt like the Bloodline ran Smackdown during their peak. And now reports claim that's exactly what's going on here. WWE allegedly views the Judgment Day as the successor to the Bloodline, and a faction that'll be as capable of being as interesting and dynamic as the Bloodline was. Obviously, the Bloodline was something special, truly a 3-year-long storyline that had highlights throughout all those years. But the Bloodline story is quickly coming to an end, and a lot of fans expect SummerSlam to be the actual final chapter of the Bloodline. So if that's true, then it looks like WWE will take everything they learned from the Bloodline story and their time together and implement some of that into the Judgment Day's current direction and story. So you'll have Rhea Ripley doing her own thing in the women's division, Damian Priest continuing to be a threat to all champions with the contract, Finn trying to get the world title, and now Dominik Mysterio as the North American champion. A lot of fans have brought up the comparison to Solo Sikoa winning the North American title after he first joined the Bloodline, and how he had to relinquish the title after 7 days. A lot of fans are wondering if that means the same thing will happen to Dominik Mysterio or not. Well, going by WWE's logic, Solo Sikoa was only forced to relinquish the title because he wasn't supposed to take part in the match at all within the storyline world. Solo's title match was never officially sanctioned in NXT. So as a result of that, he has to give it up. Dominik's match, on the other hand, was very official and was sanctioned in every way possible beforehand. So it doesn't seem like Dominik Mysterio will be stripped of the title like Solo was. it looks like he'll officially be the champion and will have to be pinned to lose it. A lot of fans feel like it may be a short title reign for Dominik, while other fans believe that maybe WWE will keep the title on him for a bit, show it off on Raw, and try to get more fans interested in seeing Dominik and the Judgment Day on NXT every week. So that part is very interesting. As long as Dominik's holding the title, it basically means that they'll have to work double duty full time. He has to be on Raw every Monday and NXT on Tuesdays. So Dominik now being champion adds a lot to the dynamic of the group, because now all of a sudden, Finn Balor is the odd one out with nothing truly in his possession. So that itself has fans wondering if they'll really go all the way in with the Judgment Day and have Finn Balor win the World Heavyweight title from Seth Rollins to truly top off his takeover from the faction. If Finn captures the world title and every Judgment Day member has something huge in their possession, that's going to make the Judgment Day rise up the rankings of WWE factions. But if WWE was to do that, it looks like the Judgment Day's main story will be Finn Balor basically having to look over his shoulder as champion, because his longtime Judgment Day partner is also the biggest threat with the Money in the Bank contract. So that's a very interesting element there that we've never seen before. We've never seen the champion and contract holder be together in a faction at the same time. So it definitely would be intriguing to see how that plays out, and what would ultimately happen to the group if Damian was ever to cash in on Finn Balor, and if the group could survive a moment like that. Most likely not. But that's the latest for the Judgment Day. Expect them to be huge parts of Raw and possibly NXT going forward. Seth Rollins' WWE theme song has turned into one of the biggest hits with the fans. They sing it during his entrance, his matches, his promos. They even sing it when they're all walking out of arenas. That's how catchy and how much of a hit it is with them. But Seth Rollins was recently a guest on Logan Paul's Impulsive podcast and revealed that there was originally even more singing in the original version of his current theme, but how it was removed and cut out by Vince McMahon, who really wasn't feeling it. Seth Rollins had this to say about Vince McMahon trimming parts of his theme song out, quote, "So we did it in Raymond James Stadium, did the song, and when I was putting the song together, I kind of had a vision of what I wanted people to do. When we first put that song out, Vince McMahon he was just hearing it for the first or second time. He actually took a set of the woes out. He didn't get the woes. He was like, that's not Seth Rollins. I'm like, I'm telling you. And he's like, no, just trust me. I'm like, all right, fine. You've only been doing this for 80 years or whatever. He took the woes out. But in the back of my mind, I'm just like, just you wait. They never went back in. The version you hear now is still the Vince version, but there's enough of the woes that it caught on, end quote. So a very interesting reveal by Seth Rollins. The original version of the theme song was supposed to be filled up even more of singing throughout the song, but it was all trimmed out by Vince McMahon. But like Seth said, the few sets that Vince McMahon left sprinkled in there still ended up catching on and connecting with the crowd, and continues to be one of the most popular theme songs in pro wrestling in current day. But what are your thoughts on today's stories? Leave your comments below. Don't forget to subscribe with all notifications on, and leave a like if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, guys.